Mark here with DIY-Wise. Today we're going to show you how to replace a window from start to finish. I'm going to do a series of videos on it, a couple different steps. First we're going to start off with measuring the window and getting the right size of it. Let's get this all cleaned up and we'll get ready and get everything measured. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here, we got to remove all this exterior trim that they put around the window. Depending on your window and who installed it, they can do it a couple different ways. This one was installed from the inside, so they measured the inside dimensions and they fit that inside window to that dimensions. And some of my windows in the house, I'll show you one later here, and I might put it in the video right here while I'm talking. The bottom of this window sill, even this window sill where they put the trim in, this window is lower on the inside on the window sill. This trim they put in, they bent the flashing and it's sloped back towards the window. And I mean, a lot of the silicone, you should never do that. That's just asking for a water problem. I got a real bad window that I already replaced. So I'll show you one that I haven't yet that's sloped back a little bit more. This one's close to level, but it's still sloped back. It's not supposed to be level at all. It should be sloping away from your window at all times. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is remove this trim. This is a flashing here, and there's probably wood behind it. You're going to need a pry bar. There's a couple pry bars, different ones. This is a cat's paw here. A hammer. Maybe a little putty knife or something to pry against so you don't crack any brick or anything like that. You also need a utility knife. What you're going to do, use that to cut the caulk. I'm going to go ahead, slice that caulking. That pry bar behind there, I can see there's a nail right there holding it. Put this putty knife behind it so we don't damage the brick or crack it or anything. Pry that out of there. Got that out. We're just going to do that all the way around the window here. You can see they got some insulation stuffed in here, which is a good thing. We'll go ahead and get this side because you can see that's why I did the other side too first. It's on top of the bottom piece, so that way you can pry it out and there's nothing in the way. Just cut this silicone again. Get this pry bar in there again. There's a nail right there, so it's going to be the toughest part. Get this putty knife behind the pry bar again so I don't crack any brick. You want to use a sturdy putty knife or something that's not flexible. Get that off, it's pretty simple. Now we'll go ahead and cut the bottom. I'm going to cut myself, so I'm going to use this pry bar here to get it out of there. Piece of wood that they have down there, which was a good thing. You just didn't have it sloping away from the house. Just using this putty knife to pry that silicone off. Cut right across it, pull that piece out. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you too. I don't like this type of install As you can see, you had to install flashing around the outside to seal everything off. When remodeling companies or window companies come in to replace their windows, I got a couple quotes to have this done, and it's a little obnoxious on some of them. But they measure it on the inside of the window seal, and the inside of the walls. I'll show you how to do that. But they measure it that way, and sometimes it works better. And they fit it in there, and you got all this gap you got to fill up with everything. On a brick install, I like it clean, and I'll show you later in this video when we put the new window in. I want this window to be out on the face of this brick, about where that caulking line is. I want the front of that window there. I don't want it to sit back. You pull the window out to this caulking line or so, wherever it's past the brick, and you have a nice clean edge all the way around. No flashings needed. Simply use a caulking. I'll show you what type of caulking I use later also. You can leave like a 1/4 inch gap or so all the way around the window, and you seal that with the caulk. You spray foam insulation on the inside. It's a lot simpler. It looks a lot cleaner, less hassle, less maintenance, less worries of water problems. Okay, so let's get this top piece off here. It's a silicone cut, which already looks like it's cracked pretty well. Yeah, that's loose right there. Let's get this cut, and that's pretty, yeah, that's just hanging there. So that's going to be nailed to a piece of wood there also. So we're just going to hammer this in here and pry this piece of wood out, flashing and all. Alright, so this is the top of the window right here, and you can see what I'm talking about. That's the inside plaster, drywall, whatever you may have. This is drywall right here, it looks like. But because they fit it on the inside, they put that big piece of 1.5 inch 2x4 to cover all this. I'm going to show you later in the video. I want to lift this up. I want to make this tighter. I'm going to cut out this part of the drywall or the plaster. I'll show you how I do that later in the video also. Alright, so now we're going to measure for the new window. Okay, so first I got a square here. I just want to put this up here, make sure nothing's too crazy out of square. Put that up against the brick. You're going to have to count for a little bit of extra if it's out like crazy. It seems pretty good. It's out a little bit, but it's a brick install, so we'll leave enough to cover for that. Out a little bit there. That looks pretty good. It's up on the brick lintel. It's out a little bit there, but we'll account for that in the measurements. You're going to want to grab a measurement from the bottom there, right where the window is going to sit. And it's close to 40 inches. You want to go ahead and mark that measurement down. Do one in the middle, close to 40. And do one at the top, close to 40. Just make sure when you make your measurements, if there's a brick that's protruding out further, you want to make sure you get the smallest spot. So if you need to check in some other areas just to be sure there's nothing crazy, you can check it. So you take those 3 measurements, the top, middle, bottom, whichever one is the smallest, jot that one down. Now we're going to do the same on top to bottom. You're 50 inches on the left. About 49 3/4 in the middle. $49.5. Well, let's check that again. It depends on where I'm measuring. Yeah, 49.5. 49 5/8. So what you want to make sure, I have a brick install. this brick is sloped away like it's supposed to be, so the water will run away from the house and won't go into the interior. You want to make sure you measure the highest spot, which is back here on some of these bricks that are sticking out a little bit. I want to be perfect, so I don't want any mistakes. I got a bricklayer's tape measure. This is what I'm going to actually make the true measurements with. So we saw the inside was about 40 inches. I'm going to go ahead, check this right now, and I'm going to jot all three of these measurements down. That is actually right at 40 inches. Check the middle. That is also right at 40 inches. Make sure you're not on any old caulking. You get a true measurement from brick to brick. This right here, there's some holes in the brick, but it's about 40 1/4. Move it to a different spot. There, it's about 40 1/16. So the smallest measurement is 40 inch. Go ahead and jot that down. And we're going to go top to bottom on the highest spot here. $49 3/4. Let's check the middle. 49 5/8. Let's check the side. 49 5/8 again. So we're going to go with 49 5/8. Jot that down. Alright, so these measurements we just took here, those are rough opening sizes. Every window manufacturer, and some people are going to tell you to do different things. This particular manufacturer, I'm getting all side mezzo windows. They tell you to take 3/8 inch off your width and 1/4 inch off your height for your actual exact measurement window size. We have our three width measurements, 40 1/8, 40 inch, and 40 inch. So the width, rough openings, 40 inch. Take 3/8 inch, according to the manufacturer of the windows, off of that measurement, and your window size will be 39 5/8. On your height, we have three measurements of 49 3/4, 49 5/8, 49 5/8. Take 1/4 inch off your smallest measurement, which is 49 5/8. And you get 49 3/8. So we're going to have a final exact window measurement of 39 5/8 by 49 3/8 inch high. All right, so next we're going to want to take these same measurements on the inside. There's trim around this window, so you're going to want to do it where the trim is not there. We're at 39 7/8, 39 3/4. 39 3/4. Alright, like I said, I'd like to be perfect on it. So I get my bricklayer's tape measure out, ruler. 39 3/4. 39 3/4. 39 7/8. So we're going to go off the 39 3/4. Alright, now we're going to check the height. 48 1/2. 48 1/2. So 48 1/2, top to bottom. Okay, so we got our final measurements here. The exact window size is 39 5/8 wide by 49 3/8 high. That's the window size we're going to order. The 39 5/8 is smaller than the 39 3/4 on the inside, and the 49 3/8 is higher than the 48 1/2. Because they didn't have the window up high enough on the top on the outside. I just want to show you guys the reason the new window is going to be higher is because of this gap up top that they left. This plaster drywall right here, we're going to cut that out and it's going to fit up higher. Alright guys, this is the first video of a series of how to replace a window. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to remove all this caulk. This is Mark with DIY Wise. Please comment, like, and subscribe.